Hello and welcome to this edition of GEONIS Tips and Tricks videos on the subject of upgrading to GEONIS Server 6. Today we're going to walk you through the basic steps for getting your new GEONIS Server 6 up and running, assuming a standard installation. These basic steps do apply to any installation and upgrade of a GEONIS Server 6 service patch or subversion. The first thing you want to do is go to the GeoCom portal at my.geocom.ch. There in the Software Center you will find all of the GEONIS product downloads. Choose the appropriate version of GEONIS Server according to what you have, either Standard or Pro. Download and unpack the zipped installation file to your local machine. And before you go any further, please do make sure you've read all of the installation documentation on the GeoCom portal. Sometimes further instructions may be placed there that did not make it into the software release notes. The download location provides a directory structure that mirrors your existing GEONIS Server installation directory structure. The first thing you need to do is copy and replace the new XSD files from the location where you unpacked the installation files, shown here on the left, over to the identical GEONIS Server installation folder, shown here on the right. Then you will want to do the same thing for the language files. Do make sure you've backed up all of these existing files on the right side before doing any of these steps. In this example, we are working with a local single server installation of GEONIS Server, but do bear in mind that on multi-tier infrastructures, some of the GEONIS Server components are installed on the GIS server and others on the web server. The next step is updating the ArcGIS server object extensions. So log into your ArcGIS Server Manager. Here you're going to see all of your existing ArcGIS for Server services running. Click on Site, then Extensions, where you will see the GEONIS Server SOE and the GEONIS Server Map Services Connector SOE. Here you want to replace the GEONIS Server SOE. When you click Edit, you'll have the chance to upload and replace the extension. Navigate through the folders you downloaded to find the GEONIS Server SOE for the appropriate version of ArcGIS for Server that you have, and select that file. Do the same for the GEONIS Map Service Connector SOE. The next thing we want to do is to update our GEONIS Server SOE configuration file. You can find the location of that by navigating to your ArcGIS for Server Services, then to your GEONIS Server extension, then to Capabilities. Click on GEONIS Server Capability, and at the bottom you will find the directory location of the configuration file. What we now want to do is see what changes have been introduced in the new downloaded config file. You can do that by going to Windows Explorer and opening both the existing and new config files and comparing them side by side in a tool such as Notepad++. Since you may have a configured solution, you may just want to copy over from the new config file what's new rather than replace the entire file. With Notepad++, you can do a compare between the files and see, marked in red, everything that is different or new in the new config file on the left. You can copy over just the new parts of the config, or if you want to accept the entire file, just copy it over and replace the old file. If you do that, you may need to replace, for example, the GEONIS configuration installation directory in the XML file. The next thing we need to do is delete the existing ArcGIS server assembly caches. Stop the ArcGIS server service. In your Windows Services Manager, you can see the directory location of this next to the listing for the ArcGIS server service. Go there in Windows Explorer and delete both the GEONIS Server SOE and GEONIS Server Map Service Connector SOE caches. These end in A365 and B000 respectively. Now restart ArcGIS Server. Go back into the ArcGIS Server Manager and restart your GEONIS Server extension. If for whatever reason this does not start properly, the first place to check for troubleshooting would be the edits you made in the GEONIS Server SOE config file in Notepad++ in the earlier step. Next, we need to update the GEONIS Server user interface and web adapter. For this, we will uninstall and reinstall these applications. First, uninstall both of them in the Programs and Features area of the Windows Control Panel. Then simply reinstall them from the executables in the Applications subfolder of the Installation Download directory. First, the Web Adapter setup, where the wizard allows you the opportunity to include a setup configuration file should you have one. On the GEONIS Web Adapter admin site, you can validate the connection between the Web Adapter and the GEONIS Server SOE map service. Finally, we can ensure that the Web Adapter is up and running by going to the default ArcGIS Server REST Services page, where we will see, amongst any other services that we may have, the GEONIS Server service up and running, if all the steps have been performed correctly. Next, we will go back and install the GEONIS Server UI. Run the corresponding executable back in the Applications folder of the download location, just as we did for the Web Adapter. Here we can save our installation as an installation configuration file for the next time we install the UI. And congratulations, you have now completed your upgrade to GEONIS Server 6. The last thing is a simple test to make sure everything's up and running properly. Try, for example, launching one of the GEONIS attribute forms to see if it loads correctly. If you're seeing the attribute form you expect with your configurations in place, then you know you've succeeded. Thank you for watching this GEONIS tips and tricks video on setting up GEONIS Server 6. Of course, the GEONIS team is always standing by to help you if you should need any personal assistance. We wish you every success in your use of GEONIS, the world's best GIS products for utilities.